Namaste, everyone, and a very warm welcome. Have you ever really thought about it? The two most important things for our life, the air we breathe, the water we drink, they're all around us, but they are full of incredible secrets. And today, we're going on an adventure to uncover them together. So let's start with a little riddle, shall we? What is the invisible shield that is protecting you, me, and everyone on this planet, every single day, without us even noticing? Keep that question in your mind, because the answer is just around the corner. So, here's our plan for today's journey. First, we'll uncover that mysterious invisible shield. Then, we're going to zoom right in and see what the air we breathe is actually made of. After that, we'll dive deep into the world of water. And finally, we'll learn some very important tricks for making our water pure and safe to drink. Ready? Let's go. Okay, first stop, our planet's shield. I want you to imagine a giant, cozy, and completely invisible blanket that is wrapped all around our Earth. You can't see it, you can't touch it, but trust me, without it, none of us would be here. This amazing blanket has a name. It's called the atmosphere. And you know, it's a real superstar because it does three incredibly important jobs at once. First, it gives us the air we need to live. Second, it traps the sun's heat, keeping our planet warm and comfy. And third, it acts like a giant pair of sunglasses for the Earth, blocking the sun's most dangerous rays. Amazing, right?
And when I say it's huge, I mean it's huge. The atmosphere stretches 800 kilometers up from where you're sitting. But it's not just one big blob of air. Oh no. It's actually made of 5 different layers, all stacked one on top of the other, kind of like a massive invisible sandwich.
Each of these 5 layers has a special job. We live right at the bottom, in the troposphere. This is where all the action is. All our weather, the clouds, the rain, it all happens here. Above that is the stratosphere, which has the super important ozone layer, our planet's personal sunscreen. Then there's the mesosphere, which acts like a bodyguard, burning up meteors before they can hit us. The thermosphere is where space shuttles fly around, and way, way up at the top is the exosphere, the last stop before you're in deep space.
Okay, so we've looked at the big picture of the atmosphere, but what about the air itself? You know, the stuff we're breathing in right now? Let's take a closer look and see what it's really made of.
Now, get ready for a little surprise. If I asked you what's the main gas in the air, most people would say oxygen. But look at this. The air we breathe is actually 78% nitrogen. The oxygen that we need to live makes up only about 21%. And that tiny 1% left over, well, that's a mix of a bunch of other gases. And all these gases work together like a team. We use oxygen to breathe and to create energy, and it's also what makes things burn. Nitrogen is super important for plants. They take it from the soil to grow big and strong. And the carbon dioxide that we breathe out, well, that's exactly what plants breathe in to make their food. It's such a perfect, beautiful cycle. The air also has tiny, invisible droplets of water in it. We call the amount of this water vapor humidity. And I know you know this feeling, that sticky, heavy feeling during the monsoon when you feel all sweaty and your clothes just don't dry. That's what high humidity feels like. Here's another question for you. I'm sure you've all seen pictures of those brave mountaineers climbing huge mountains like Mount Everest or Kanchenjunga. And you must have noticed those big cylinders they carry on their backs. Have you ever wondered what's inside them? Well, it's oxygen. You see, the higher up you go, the thinner the air becomes, which means there's less and less oxygen to breathe. So mountaineers have to carry their own supply. It's the same reason why deep-sea divers and astronauts need to carry tanks. They're going to places where there just isn't enough of the right kind of air for us to breathe. And this really shows us the magic of breathing. It's a simple exchange, really. We breathe in air that has more oxygen, our body uses that oxygen as fuel, and then we breathe out air that has more carbon dioxide. It's this amazing little trade that happens with every single breath, and it's what keeps us alive. All right, so we've explored the air all around us. Now, let's leave the sky behind and dive right into the world of water. Because just like air, it is one of the most important things for life on our planet. We all know we have to drink water to live. But here's the problem. Most of the water you find in nature, in our rivers, our lakes, even from a well, is actually not safe to drink just like that. It's full of things called impurities that can make us really sick. These impurities basically come in 3 types. First, you have the stuff you can see, the insoluble impurities, like bits of sand or mud. Then there's the tricky stuff you can't see, the soluble impurities, like salts that have dissolved in the water. And finally, you have the most dangerous ones, the invisible germs and bacteria that can cause diseases. So the big question is, how do we get rid of all this stuff? How can we take water that might be dirty and turn it into water that is pure and safe for us to drink, right in our own homes? Let's find out. So for the muddy stuff that you can see, there's a really simple two-step method. First is sedimentation. All you do is let the muddy water stand still in a glass or a pot. Slowly, all the heavy mud and sand will settle down at the bottom. Then you do step 2, decantation. You just very gently and carefully pour the cleaner water from the top into another pot, leaving all that settled mud behind. Easy peasy. But what about the smaller bits? For that, we can use filtration. It's exactly like when someone makes chai and uses a strainer to catch the tea leaves. You pass the water through a filter, maybe a special paper or even just a clean piece of cloth. The cloth traps all the tiny impurities and lets the clean water flow through. Now, if you want the absolute purest water you can get, there's a process called distillation. It's quite clever, actually. First, you boil the impure water. When the water turns into steam, it leaves all the dirt and dissolved impurities behind. Then, you collect that pure steam and cool it down, and it turns back into perfectly clean liquid water. But what about at home? What are the easiest ways? Well, there are 2 really common methods. First is boiling. It's the simplest. Just boiling your water for about 10 minutes will kill most of the harmful germs. The other method is chlorination, which means adding special chlorine tablets to a pot of water. These tablets are designed to kill germs and make the water safe. And this really says it all, doesn't it? At the end of the day, it doesn't matter which method you use. What's most important is to make sure that the water we use for drinking and for cooking is clean. It is one of the biggest keys to staying healthy. So there you have it, air and water. They seem so simple, so ordinary. But as we've seen today, they are absolutely packed with amazing science. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other everyday things all around you are just hiding incredible secrets, waiting for you to discover them? Think about it.